Hey gamers! So yesterday on the Paralives YouTube channel, a 45-minute live stream dropped showing off exclusively live mode gameplay. You guys know me, I am a live mode girly through and through, and so I am all over this like a rash. Unfortunately, we did recently find out that Paralives' early access release date has been pushed to May the 25th, 2026, with the reason for that being that the team really want to work on gameplay in live mode. The community manager Rena did a fantastic job of showing off a couple of days in live mode, and so I have combed through this and I've pulled out about 9 key points of interest that you may not have seen if you didn't catch the stream yourself, or if you were like me on your first watch, you might have just been too excited to really notice and lock in on them. But before we get into that, my name is Yasmin and my mission here on the channel is to help serious simmers like you to find fun and fulfilling gameplay in your favorite life sim games. My question of the day is, has this live stream changed your mind about Paralives at all? Whether for good or for maybe worse, let us know in the comments down below because I would love to hear from you, and let's get into it. Okay, so I have skipped about 5 or 6 minutes into this stream, and do you know what, right? I'm gonna move myself kind of more to the middle of the screen here just for a second, because the first point that I really want to note here is how clean the live mode UI really is. I know that we've kind of got glimpses of it in, previous trailers and stuff, but I feel like I've always been too focused on whatever gameplay aspect that trailer is showing off. And so this stream really gave us an opportunity to see just how it feels when you're actually playing the game, which is so important. I have got so used to the Sims 4's UI just being so kind of cluttered and honestly a little bit overwhelming now that the game has been out for 11 years, and of course that there is just so much DLC that's cluttering up all of the panels and everything. And so I know I'm in a bit of a weird place right here, but I am quite obsessed with just how clean and simple it is and how you can see everything easily, and I'm quite obsessed with it, truly. Alright, I've rewound it ever so slightly because Rena is about to pull up the goals tab. I'm sorry, what do you mean? This game has goals and like quests? I had absolutely no clue. This is so exciting to me for so many different reasons, because sometimes I think us life sim players can feel a tiny bit lost in games like this, and so having a goal system, extremely exciting. Hold on, let me rewind ever so slightly so we can see that the first one that we have here is this one called Settle Home, where you have to get a job, decorate your house a little bit, and cook a meal. So it seems to very much so be acquainting you with the very basic routines that your para folk will be going through. However, if I skip forward ever so slightly, as we can see, the newspaper has been pulled up here, and Rena here is accepting another quest, which should be right here. So discovering the town, and I'm going to talk about these top aspects here in just a second because they are getting me so excited. But again, it's just like making sure that you're socializing with people, checking out the shops in the game, and I'm losing it ever so slightly about this because I'm seriously intrigued by the scope of goals here. Like, my questions are mainly, how far will they accompany your paras into the game? If you're playing maybe 2, 3, 4 generations down the line, are you still going to be coming across new goals? And even though Rena didn't specifically talk about it, I do have some theories as to potentially how we may be getting more quests in the game. Again, we did just see acquiring one through the newspaper. So I've jumped forward a good whack, and I want you guys to pay attention to this symbol right over here. Do you guys see this little like exclamation mark? As we're gonna see, it is attached to a para that is walking across the screen just here, and Rena doesn't directly acknowledge this. And we see another one. Maybe I can find it if I am... Oh, can I find it? Maybe. Yes, here. Okay, so skipping well ahead again, we can see another one attached to this board, and I am thinking that it might be, chatting to paras about town, going to this maybe community board to get new additional goals. Again, we don't know much about it at all, but seeing this has just got me so excited. It really is serving like opportunities from The Sims 3, which I loved as a feature so much. They, really motivate you to try different areas of gameplay, and who doesn't love like a cheeky little reward for doing fun things? So yes, I'm gonna stop yapping about this because I could talk about it all day. Okay, I've skipped back again because I know that we've just seen it, but I need to talk about it in a whole separate thing. Hints about a collection system. Are you kidding me? Like, look at over here. Gems, collect 5 gems, mushrooms, or artifacts. Donate to a museum and donate to a community. I'm so excited that I can't even talk about it. Donate to a community center. Like, are you kidding me? Stardew Valley girlies, the Animal Crossing girlies, we are all crying. I can't wait to see much more about this system. We unfortunately don't, watch Rena running around and picking up any collectibles or visiting these other community lots. We really do just focus in on this town area here, but I can't wait to see, does the collection system just end at, gems, mushrooms, and artifacts? Or are there going to be more things to find? Do we get some sort of reward for catching them all if you're, a Pokemon girly as well? Like, where I just can't wait to, once again, like the goals, explore the scope of this system. The front end of this stream really was absolutely stacked with fun things to look at. So as we can see here, Rena is showing us that in some of the community lots about town, you can find hiring signs, but you can also pull up your phone to look at all the jobs that are currently available to your para, and Rena is going to do that in just a second. And as we are about to see, I could count maybe about 11 different industries that your para folk can work in, which is really exciting because I was a little bit worried that the selection of jobs may be very limited. But as we can see here, we have a bunch of options like software development, art, service industry, the music industry, even management, healthcare science, and food as well. There are a bunch right here. And as we are soon going to see, if I actually skip ahead just a tiny little jump to here. Wait, hold on. Is it here? Yes. Okay. So we can see that there is an absolute bunch of jobs available to parafolk in the city. And you can see that, certain positions are doubled up across different community lots, but that's totally understandable. That makes sense. And another thing that I absolutely adore, and I've paused the screen just here, because as we can see, you are actually able to really customize the positions that your paras take. So you can pick which, work shifts they take and what days they work, which is really fun. And skipping ahead a wee bit more, just while we're on the subject of jobs, another aspect which seems to be very customizable with jobs in Paralives is the fact that as your paras go to work, they have the opportunity to earn, unlock points and these kind of like perk points to upgrade their jobs, so that then they can either rank up their position, as we're about to see, or even, unlock specific perks to either extend their workday and maybe earn more money or get closer to their colleagues and stuff like that. So again, as we can see, the ability to rank up your shifts or rank up your job rather. And I just think this is really fun because again, I was very worried about how, replayable a lot of these positions would feel. But this kind of upgrade system, and again, the ability to customize them based on your preferred shift patterns and stuff, seems like it is going to go a long way for making each para's career feel really unique, even if you play them multiple times. I'm so curious to see just how far we can stack these up. Like if I keep picking the blue perks before then ranking up, how is this going to work? How much can I just squeeze all the juice out of making my para's job even more efficient? I don't know. I'm so intrigued to find out. Okay, so we are about to see Rena's para start working on some programming, and as you can see, I bopped myself into the middle of the screen because over here, over this way, we're seeing some of the aspects to do with skill building in the game. So as you can see, programming is increasing as well as technology. And so technology, as we already know, is more of a knowledge collection, whereas programming is its own individual skill. So raising up programming will then feed into your technology skill, which is very fun. It's going to be the same with music. So increasing your, guitar or piano skill will increase your musical knowledge, which I, again, think that it's so fun to keep everything much cleaner than we see in The Sims 4, where we have so many skills. Some of them are seemingly quite superfluous. So I love how kind of tight this system feels, if that makes sense. We do see as well that each skill goes up to level 20, but I know that the team are still working on kind of adding perks for every single skill level gained. So it's going to be so interesting to see those when we know a little bit more. So Rena's parrot is starting to get a little bit hungry now. So in a second, we are going to see her come over to the fridge and bring up the recipe menu. Now I know that we were just talking about skills, but because I love food, I can't help but make this its own individual thing that I wanted to address. So the really fun thing is that Rena's parrot is currently only level 1 in, you know, their kind of cooking skill, I guess. Not 100% clear on that quite yet, but as we can see, her para Milo does actually know a level 2 recipe, and there is actually, firstly, right, let me break this down. I adore the fact that your paras can learn recipes and know recipes above their current skill level, and that we are given the ability to have our paras try to make them, even if they might not be successful. So Rena here mentions that, you know, she could try making peanut butter on toast, but it might fail. So, you know, she just goes for the safe option of a frozen pepperoni pizza. Another thing to note here, let me rewind, I've been gabbing for too long. Do you guys see this just here? Like, I wish so bad that I could grab this bar and drag it down and see all of the available recipes. I know that the Paralives team have put out some content showing off all the available food and stuff in the game, or at least a lot of the assets for that, and it all looks so much fun, and I can't wait to explore it. Like, you know that my first character in this game, Yasmin Para Beach, obviously is what I'm gonna call her. You know that we are gonna be channeling our inner Gordon Ramsay and trying to learn every single recipe. I'm also very intrigued to learn how the process of acquiring recipes works. Is it strictly tied to our cooking level, or is there some way that we maybe unlock it through completing, you know, new recipes through completing goals, or talking to other paras, or buying recipes like we could in The Sims 3? I don't know. That's just something that, again, I'm very intrigued to find out more about. So in completing the section of cooking a meal, we will see that Milo actually levels up his personality. Now, I didn't mention this at the start of the stream, but if we rewind all the way, we can actually see like the personality panel and stuff for this para Milo. And so we can see things like his vibe, his social perk, and importantly his talent as well. And so then if we skip back to where we just were, here we go, we will see that doing things like completing goals with your paras will earn you experience points. And in leveling up your personality, which we're, you know, in the process of seeing right now, you actually, well, we see Rena actually level up Milo's music talent, so that then you can kind of customize it for each para, which is really exciting. Again, especially because I don't think that there are too many options for different talents you can have, at least, you know, right at the moment. And so I love this aspect of focusing on depth rather than breadth. Give us ways to personalize these talent points, you know, so that then they feel individual per each para that we're playing, you know, at least to a degree. And I have to wonder, so we obviously only see one personality upgrade during this stream, but if I pause here, we can still see all of these like padlocks and stuff. We just saw this one getting filled in. So I have to wonder, as we continue to upgrade our para's personalities, will we then get to unlock more social perks and vibes? This is me speculating, this is me wondering, but this was really exciting to see. So as we saw earlier, one of the very first goals that Rena got for her para here was to make acquaintances with 3 different people around town, and so that's what she's working on just here. You guys will have noticed that the social system and the interaction system in Paralives is a lot more stripped back. It's not like what we are used to in The Sims 4 or 3, where you know, or I guess other Sims games as well, where you click on a sim and then you have this ginormous wheel of all the options that you can pick. No, how it works here, from what we can see, is that you pick, you know, a generic talk to action, and then there is like a little bar just down here. Where is it? Yes, so this little bar down here, this will fill up as you are, you know, communicating with paras in the game, and then you'll get these little chance cards to direct the flow of conversation, as we can see just over here. So talk about programming and, you know, a bunch of other options. And I at first wasn't sure about this, but the more that I've thought about it, I actually do think I will like this system a lot more because, especially in The Sims 4, I find the social wheel menu very confusing, especially after they rejigged it a couple of years back. And it sucks when you queue up a bunch of interactions, something happens, they all get cancelled. So then you just get frustrated and leave the conversation. Whereas this system seems to be a lot more stripped back, but a lot more streamlined as well. And so maybe some of you guys would not like that, you know, if you feel like you can't really craft the conversations between paras like you would want to, perhaps, I don't know. But I think this is going to be great, especially if we're busy controlling multiple para folk and, you know, having to jump between them, because again, we're playing in an open world here. So not having to necessarily worry that we've got a whole social queue lined up while we focus somewhere else. Again, I think I'm going to appreciate this, but obviously we're only seeing it happen in a very small snippet of conversation. So yeah, I don't know, let me know what you guys are thinking about this aspect down below. So as you guys have probably noticed, the vast majority of this stream has, well, all of this stream in fact, is focused on this very central area of town, and I like that there seems to be so much to do, including a lot of different public lots. So as we can see here, the first one that we are visiting is this cafe, like library bookshop, which I think is so cute. Grabbing like a little snack from the counter. Very fun that, you know, there doesn't necessarily have to be somebody minding the till. I quite like that, just in case there's some sort of like glitch happening, or you can just get food whenever you want. This lot is adorable, and as we're gonna see, there is a super cute little like children's area to hang out in as well. It just seems like so much detail has gone into making these lots feel, you know, really usable for all different types of parafolk. Generally, this kind of town square area does seem very lively, like even though, you know, it's 8 p.m. and later on there's even a clip at like 3:30 in the morning where we see a lot of, you know, people wandering around the town square. So it seems that you're always gonna have people to talk to. But as we can see here, like Rita is in this really cute little flower shop, and I keep noticing these little pedestals in, you know, some of the community lots where right there we see that there is a free plant that you can apparently grab every single day. I absolutely adore how this is going to be encouraging you to revisit these different community lots, you know, regularly. They're a place where you can actually buy decorations to go in your home. And actually, if we even skip forward a little bit more, where is it? Hold on, I think a little bit more. Where is it? Yes, here. So there's even like this antique store just here as well, where you can buy furniture for your house. And again, we do see these pedestals. Some of them are empty, I think, right now. But as we go to another floor, or actually it looked like an item just, oh, the items just popped in right there. There we go. So again, on these platforms, we can see that there's a discounted candle holder, it looks like, and then that bed is also discounted. So not all items are discounted, but again, a great incentive if you're playing maybe a rags to riches. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that in the game, or just generally a bit more of like a thrifty character. Once again, I love the, you know, you being incentivized to visit these stores more than once to see what's in these rotating sales and everything. So very fun. And to save this video from being 10,000 years long, I'm actually just going to cut it off right here. That was actually the last thing that I wanted to talk about, was just how gorgeous this world looks. Playing in the background right now is a last little bit of gameplay of showing off some romantic interactions, but it seems to me to be fairly similar to, you know, the regular interactions that we saw earlier. So, final thoughts. This stream has got me even more excited to learn a lot more about Paralives. I'm such a slag for live mode that getting to see it in action has got me so jazzed, truly. Rena did such a fantastic job at showing off a bunch of features and stuff, and she did mention towards the start of the stream, I think, that there are going to be, you know, more live streams like this, and I cannot wait for them. Again, we've been very much so planted in the central area of town, and I can't wait to see way more of the world. We did get some very small hints at them, like the small images of like the community center and the museum, and yes, I cannot wait to see way more of this world. So my question of the day has been, what has this stream got you feeling about Paralives? Again, has it made you more excited? Has it given you some more questions? Let us know in the comments down below, because I would love to hear from you. Before we head out, I have to thank my amazing channel members for supporting my work here and generally just showing up to streams all the time, being being amazing. So starting off with our Tiberium level members, we have ABM, Bloodied Porcelain, and Vanagander, and you are going to be able to see all of our amazing Soul Piece members here on the screen as well. I bet you guys are like, should I like cover my face? Can you see them? But thank you guys again so much for supporting my work. If you want to hear me yap on a little bit longer, YouTube has picked a video on the screen just for you, but also I do have another one that I made recently, kind of acting as a primer for everything to do with Paralives. So if you're a little bit behind on, you know, news for the game, go check that out first. But with all of that said, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon.